Mother Funny Time with Andie and Angie.
2 cousins, 8 kids, 1 grandkid, 2 states.
And a whole lot of fun. Woo! Welcome back, Mother Funny Tribe. It's Angie and Andy. We're talking again. We're continuing our conversation about new school year, new kids, new things. All the new things. Changes. All these things.
Change
right?
happens. Change happens. And we have to accept that things will constantly be changing in our lives as moms and also in our kids' lives. And part of why I think we wanted to talk about this was even in the episodes last week, like Andy kind of mentioned about how at the beginning of the school year, there could be a lot of like emotions and what your kids are dealing with. And so it was like, oh, let's talk about this a little bit more. But I think part of this issue with change and new school year or new house, or even if like a baby is born into the family, you get a new pet, like there's, when you think about a child, like their lives are constantly changing and they don't have much control over it. And so, and remember as a kid, like everything's so much bigger than we expect it to be or as we remember. And as families, it could be a lot of change for the entire family, or it could just be the change for the individual. It could be the season that your family's in, or it could, like right now, is just back to school, or it's even daylight savings. Like that is a change. That's a change dark to the routine. Yes.
It's reminding me of Inside Out, the first one where they move to San Francisco and she starts out happy, but then life gets difficult and then her emotions come in and it's so hard. And I think that's like even talking last time about introverts and extroverts, that kids even can have like psych themselves up to be like, it's going to be great. Everything's going to be great. And then they try to keep that game face on, but then hard things happen. They don't get the right class. They don't get their friends aren't in their class. Their friends aren't in their lunch period, and they have to find new people to sit with and make new friends. And we know that that could be exciting in the future. We know the possibilities, but right then and right now, it's so scary and disheartening. So it's hard. It's hard times, but it's a human thing we all have to go through. I know.
Thank you, Andy, for that.
For what?
For that just dose of reality. It's all hard. It's all hard.
Until you're 70. And then
everywhere
everything's sunshine and roses. Life is hard. Then when you're 70, apparently, you're like, it doesn't matter anymore.
When you think about it, though, as adults, and we're dealing with so many changes within our lives as adults, how we're processing through it. But then you think like, wow, this is a little 8-year-old trying to process through all this change. And how do they do that? And I'll tell you what, the one thing that, and I know we've discussed this before, but like, remember when COVID happened and quarantine and they just kept saying like, kids are resilient, kids are resilient, kids are resilient. I'm like, you are putting way too much pressure on these kids to just bounce back. Like, no, this is a huge change for their lives overnight. And then it was like just a change for 2 weeks. So then it just kept getting dragged on. And we're not having this quarantine podcast. We've already done that, that great podcast.
Unless you want to process it right now, we're here for it.
I don't, but I just think this idea of like kids are resilient, it can almost just give parents an excuse to not be there for their children when their children are going through a difficult time because of change. Because if you just say like, oh, well, my child's resilient. Well, is that supportive to your child? Like, I know you're sad, but don't be sad because you're resilient. So everything's fine.
Suck it up, buttercup.
See, we can say that when we're 70 and that's okay.
Yeah.
You say that in your 40s to a child. You
in
cannot.
My 40s. So now
we
have to show compassion and caring. No, it's true. I think we are at a time where we're learning that like things that happen to us in childhood do affect our adulthood. And I mean, it just happens to everybody, right? It's not like I don't know what I mean by that, but
wait, hold on. Because you have a good point. You have a good point.
I know, I got lost.
You're going
when I'm
somewhere.
70, I won't care that I got lost. But I had a point.
Stay in this moment.
What did I even say?
Push
I'm only in my
the rewind
40s.
button on the VCR.
I'm not in my 70s where I'll say everything correctly.
The things in our childhoods affect us.
And I think we're in a good time now in society to where we're learning more about that, and not that we have to stop every change in trauma from happening to our kids, because realistically we can't. We have to go through it. We have to go through hard things. But now I think we know better how to help our kids deal with it in a way that they can process it and not carry too much extra baggage going on moving forward. So yes, change has to happen. New things have to happen. They have to go through fear. They have to go through rejection. They have to go through sadness. They have to go through all these things to make them mature, responsible adults, right? But it's how they deal with that and how they get through it that really helps them be successful when they're older.
I just also want to say they have to go through happiness and joy and excitement and
There
fun
is
and
no
birthday
happiness
parties.
until you're 70.
Make fun memories, do creative
Everybody is
projects,
sad.
art projects, go to PE.
It's all sad
Go
until
on the
you're
slip
70.
and
I'm
slide.
sorry.
When you're a kid, you can go on a slip and slide. Have you tried going on a slip and slide as an adult?
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even. It doesn't even sound fun at all.
I tried.
Yeah, when I was like 100 pounds lighter. 150 maybe. I don't know.
It just hurts.
I know, it's so painful. I'm like, and that was when I was a kid, we used like trash bags. We didn't even have a slip and slide. So we had like trash bags. And I remember my friend had like rocks in her bag. We just put trash bags.
Yes.
And it was so painful, but we like still did it because we're like, we got to do something.
See, those are fun childhood memories. That's good too.
Okay, there is a lot of fun things about being a kid.
I just have to bring it up a little bit, Andy.
I guess so. Yes, lots of fun things being a child. But those things we don't have to process as much as the sad. What would a psychologist say?
I don't know.
So
we should
how
become
can we help
psychologists.
them?
We should
We
become
could.
psychologists. In our
Dr.
free
Andy,
time.
Doctors Angie and Andy.
That's the next podcast we do together.
How? And one of us will be good cop, one of us will be bad cop.
Then it won't be very different than this podcast.
Now we're amateur
Right.
Google psychologists.
We're training for the Olympics. FYI, why have I not been practicing my breakdancing?
Oh my gosh, we're not going to talk about the Australian, are we?
No, I'm just saying, if I would have known
That we could have done
breakdancing
that?
would have been an Olympic sport,
They're not
I would
gonna
have
have
taken
it in
some
LA.
breakdancing. What?
They're not going to have it in LA.
It was like a one-time deal?
I don't know. I mean, I heard rumors. I'm not saying it's for sure. I just heard rumors they're not going to have it. I think we could have.
We missed our chance, is what you
I
just
think
told
we
me.
could have had a point. I think we could have made some points. I think we could have beat Australia.
I know.
They get us in swimming a lot, but we could have gotten them in breakdance.
I'm just saying we missed our opportunity. We were on the slip and slide and not breakdancing, and we missed our Olympic
We missed
opportunity.
it. Why didn't our mom sign us up for breakdancing at 4 years old?
That's what I'm going to do for my kids in all of our free time. They're now taking breakdancing lessons. That's their
'Cause
key
it'll
to the
come
Olympics.
back. It'll come back. Okay, so Angie, back on topic. Maybe when we're 70. Be amazing breakdancers.
Yeah.
Or we'll break everything dancing. I don't know how it is. If you're 70 and listening, let us know.
They have dance classes, though. Like, we could have senior citizen dance classes. Zumba. Senior citizen Zumba dance
I
classes.
would totally, you don't even, when we're 70, it doesn't even have to be a seniors one because we're going to rock Zumba no matter what age and we won't care. We're going to be like, come on, girls. Watch us.
When I'm 70,
walking my cat on a leash. Look how cool look how happy I am.
in our tracksuits.
In our tracksuits.
I'm
Do you think
bringing
they'll say
windbreakers
juicy
back.
on the butt? I'm going to say juicy on the butt. We're going to bring back the early 2000s.
In rhinestones.
Yes.
I just want to make this comment real quick to all the gymnastics parents. You could get juicy outfits for like $60-ish, and there was all the rhinestones on there, and those rhinestones stayed on, and that was impressive. And I would put those in the washer and the dryer, and they stayed on.
Why are you saying that to gymnastics?
Are gymnastics leotards so expensive? Because they say it's the rhinestones, and I'm like, then get the ones from Juicy, because they were a lot cheaper. They would like to have a word.
Juicy would like to have a word with you, gymnastics sellers of rhinestones.
Gymnasts, go to the Juicy company, say, we'll pay for your rhinestones. They're cheaper, probably better quality, last forever, and those leotards would be so much cheaper. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to solve all the problems of the world, but this is one that I think I could solve thanks to Juicy outfits.
Where they have rhinestone like quality control, like, because Juicy, you're saying, has a better rhinestone.
That's a lot cheaper.
That's a lot cheaper. I don't even know what a rhinestone is made of.
Talk to Juicy.
Juicy
That's
knows.
what we need to do. That's
why when we're 70, we're going to wear Juicy velour pants, tracksuits to our Zumba class. We'll have a little place to put our cats on their leashes. Okay, but going back to kids in school, how do we prepare them? How do we help them?
Change, helping our kids handle change.
Yes.
One of the huge recommendations, which I think we all could agree to this, is try to keep whatever else is going on in their life the same. So stick to the same routine. If you guys have specific meals your family likes, stick to those meals. Try to simplify your child's life. You're not going to change your whole world like all of a sudden for your child, but some people might be like, oh, well, my child is going through this huge change in their life, so we're going to let them stay up super late and then wake up whenever, and we're going to feed them candy all day long, and they try to overcompensate, which sure, there could be a little bit of that, but if you do it too much, well, now your child has a stomach ache and is exhausted, so it's not helping them adjust to that change as easy as possible. Or as we mentioned before, kids don't have control of that much in their life, but if they have a routine and they're like, no matter what tornado is going on around me, they at least have a routine, so they know what they can stick to, they know what to expect, they know what's coming up, they know what time bedtime is. So even though there might be chaos around them, that routine will actually help them stay planted and adjust to that change.
Brilliant.
You moved a lot ish.
I did.
With your kids.
Yeah.
Was there a specific strategy that you were like, this really helped in this moving process? Because moving is one of the most stressful things for a child because it's literally new everything. You have boxes or tubs. Parents are packing, unpacking, and the parents are stressed out also as they're trying to remain calm and have a great experience.
Yeah, whether it's right or wrong, what I did was just try to constantly focus on the positive of whatever was happening. Like that was my jam. I'm like, this is great. Look at this. Isn't this great? Isn't this great? Look we get this adventure. Isn't this an adventure? We tried to make everything as fun as possible. But our kids, I feel like, went through a special situation. Most kids don't go through like what our kids went through. But I would say on the positive side, our kids, our older two especially, learned to adapt really well to change because of what they went through and the hard times. Like they went through some, wild moves and uncertainty, and they're really good about being content. You know what I mean? And just going with the flow. Our youngest, I think, has the hardest time with change. But there's also something about being the youngest. And I'm just going to say this. Maybe I've said it before. But I was reading this thing, how the youngest in a family has had their siblings around their whole life, right? And all they've known is having other people. And one day, it's just them. at home, and all like the busyness and craziness and laughter and loudness and full meals. It's just them
and their parents.
And their parents, meaning, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, yeah, their parents are there. They're just, I mean, Chris and I pieced out. After the other two left, we're like, see you, Shy. Suck it up,
Good
Buttercup.
luck in high school.
We're living our 70s.
In our
Good
40s.
luck. But that was the thing of having this busy, you know, house with other people and lots of energy and stuff. And then just, it gets quiet and there's just one kid and they don't quite recover from that quickly. Like, and you'll probably find this out maybe when it's just Cole left at home. You have a long time till then, but just like all the busyness and chaos, and then it's just quiet. And there's good things about it. You know, Shiloh gets to travel and gets all the benefits of being a child still, where the other two don't get all those benefits. Like, we choose when to like pay for their things and not, but Shiloh, we still have to pay for her things. And if we go on a trip, she comes with us. But yeah, so I feel like youngest deal with change harder than the others. Thoughts? You're a youngest. I'm a youngest.
Well, I mean, our life is just amazing when you're the youngest.
It is.
You're everybody's
Sure.
favorite. So just kidding. No, I think that's true in the sense of the hustle and the bustle and the loudness, and then all of a sudden it's really quiet, and adjusting to that. I could totally see that. And that is also part of like the key strategies, like we talk about, talking with your child, acknowledging their emotions, helping them work through it. Also, which it sounds like what you've done with Shiloh, is just also talk about how it's different. Right? Instead of just acknowledging it, okay, well, how exactly, and kind of spend time, like, as you're saying this, getting into those details, because some things can seem so big, like this change was so huge, but just speaking with Shiloh or with your kids and talking with them about what specifically is different, or then it can be like, well, why is that hard? Or what is the difference? What do you like? What do you don't like? Because it sounds like you guys are super optimistic and like encouraging to your kids, as you should be.
To them, not to ourselves.
Which is
Inside,
great.
I'm like, it's all falling apart. It's all too hard. But I'm like, kids, look at all these good things.
I mean, when Danielle went to college, like, I think my mom cried for 2 weeks straight. Darcy and I were like, bye, Danielle. And my mom really struggled with Danielle. So even when the moms are struggling, the kids are still there like, okay, no, we're picking up the pieces.
I guess we're running this show now. We've lost the oldest one.
She's out of here.
Yeah. And well, even going back to school, like, you have a child who's not back at school yet. Like, that's, you know, they're still at home and they see their siblings who they've had all summer long, you know, and now they're left at home for just a little bit. But it's hard.
Well, because their best friends are gone. I mean, even if siblings, like, have conflict here or there, like, they're all each other's best friends. And all of a sudden it's like, wait, they're at school for 7 hours? You know, Cole just keeps asking, like, well, now he's into asking what day it is, like I mentioned before. But now he's like, is it pickup time? Is it pickup time? Like, he's ready to go. He wants to go pick him up. He's like, and he's, you know, he's going through that, like, my toys are boring. Drawing is boring. I don't know when he learned the word boring. I wish he would not have learned that word. So yeah, it is an adjustment. I mean, I'm trying to work on my magnetile building skills.
You're trying to fill in like the power of 4 other little girls.
Yes. It's not going well. My magnetile zoo was not as creative. It was not as exciting as Brooklyn's. So, but that is part of it, is to say, give him, like, I give Cole a time. Okay, remember, after rest time, then we'll pick up the kids. And that's like what we say, pick up the kids. And so that way he has like specific, and a very specific idea. And he doesn't understand time, but he at least understands kind of the schedule of the day. So that he at least knows, you know, it's lunchtime, rest time, then we can go pick up the kids. So it gives him a little bit of hope. In a little bit of time, it'll be fun.
It's like, I can't wait till I'm 70. 4 is tough.
Exactly. Exactly. Part of what also helps kids adjust to change is within the change that's occurred, try to give them some type of a moment or within that change, like where they could make a decision or they could have some type of power over that change. I mean, if it's a little kid, their life has changed dramatically all of a sudden. Okay, well, what do you want to wear today? The red shirt or the blue shirt if they're little. So where can they have control? Because then at least they feel like they can manage the change a little bit. And I'm sure you saw that even within your kids at different ages, depending on their age. Like, okay, if they could at least control this, it helped them adapt a little bit better to the change. Because some of these decisions are beyond them. I mean, a kid can't just decide, like, I'm moving to this location. They can't decide that when they're 12. But what within that, can they decide?
What can they control? Yeah, I think that's probably just even wise for all of us. Like, we kind of seem to default, like, when things seem crazy, we try to find that thing to control. Like, what can we keep in control when life is crazy? And that could be good. It could be unhealthy things. I think that's a great key, especially because what we can't really do is make everything better. Like, as moms, we always want to make everything better. We want all the pain to stop. We want the sadness to stop. We want at least me, I know, like, I just want to make it all better. I don't want my kids to be sad. I don't want them to be, scared or disappointed, but I know they have to. You know what I mean? Like, things are going to be out of their control. And how do we help them manage that throughout their lives without doing something harmful to control? I know some people who clean, like, when they don't have control, like, the one thing they can control is how clean their house is. And I'm like, that's amazing. Some people, it's food, but I wish it was cleaning for me. Like, I mean, I do clean, but I'm not like, oh, I can control this. Like, I really admire when people use cleaning as something they can control.
Ryan organizes things when it's stressful.
That's great, too.
Yes, like, he organizes things, which is super
this,
helpful.
But I can control this.
I would think expectations is huge. When there is a lot of change, like, set realistic expectations for yourself as a mom and then also for your kids. Like, Riley's first day of high school, I was like, girlfriend, your day or your goal for the day is just to survive the day.
Yeah.
Like,
it's to come home.
Try to get to the correct class close to the time it's supposed to start. Like, don't even try to get there on time, because that could be a stress of, like, oh my gosh, I'm like, nobody's getting tardy on the first day. You're not going to be marked tardy on the first day. Like, let's be a realist. What is the day? What does it look like? It's new to everybody. Everybody has a new classroom. Everybody has new teachers. So we know the school is also going to be reasonable. So just try to survive. Get to the classroom, the right class, around the time you're supposed to be there. Like, sometimes we just have to really lower those expectations under the circumstances. Now, if it was the last week of school, okay, I would have much higher expectations for her, right? Like, we're in
You're
finals.
getting to class on time and turning in your homework. No,
like, it changes as the school year goes on. But at that beginning of the school year, like, what is the actual, like, basis? What's the bare minimum sometimes that needs to be done? Or also within our lives, what do we need to cut out? Like, if we're too stressed out or we're seeing our kids are too stressed out, maybe they skip a soccer practice. Or maybe they have a friend come over and they don't finish that project until the next day. Because part of it's like your overall mental health, your well-being, but it's also that for your child. So maybe you have to cut out something, or maybe you need to just add in a friend or add in a neighbor or a family member to help too.
Yeah, I like it. So how was Riley's first day of high school?
She did great.
She survived.
She survived.
She did great.
Yeah.
Was it as scary as she thought?
She keeps talking about the stairs. I don't know what
she thought. Oh.
All of her schools that she's been to have been single story. And now she's at a high school that has stairs. Like, it's multiple stories, multiple levels. And she just keeps talking about, like, I go up this, then I go down the stairs. Then I go up the stairs. It's all about the stairs. Wow. And it's busy. And Riley's short. She is in this club that our moms are in I started high school under 5 feet. she's in that club, so she's teeny tiny. She's 4'11" and a half. And so she's like, Mom, there's like these huge, giant, like 18-year-old senior boys.
Yes.
And she's like a teeny tiny, small freshman girl who's short for her age in general, all going up and down the stairs with these backpacks. And they have like the Chromebooks in their backpacks, and they're heavy, and so it's the stairs. And I'm like, girlfriend, you are in great shape already, and this is just helping.
That's, you know what, I remember starting high school, and like I started high school, I'd barely like begun puberty. You know, you're like 14 going into high school. And I remember going onto campus, and there was a guy there with a full beard and long hair. And I was like, whoa. Like, I'm like, that is a man right there going to classes. And these girls too, like these girls who are like almost adults. Like you're this child who is older, but now you're going to school with people who are legally going to be adults very soon. And it's intimidating, especially if you're a little shorter.
I think we should quickly mention, and I know that we have to go, but sometimes, like, especially if like it's a toddler or a preschooler, if there's a lot of change happening, you might notice they regress. You know, like say a child is potty trained, and then there's change that happens, and then all of a sudden they, you know, are struggling with potty training, or, you know, sometimes your child might act more moody, or you would see how the change is affecting them within their behavior. And sometimes as moms, it's good to just give a little bit of grace. Like maybe you're a really strict parent, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, maybe we don't need to discipline every behavior. Or if they're acting out, like there's clearly a reason why. And sometimes we don't know why our child is acting out. But if there's a lot of change going on, you pretty much know why. So just to make sure you give your kids extra grace during change, or to be aware that like change can affect your child of any age, it can affect their behavior.
Even my age, even me.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
We just do it in more socially acceptable behaviors. That's all. Yeah, that's so true. And I think also they're really tired, because going to school for 8 hours or 7 hours is exhausting. Like, I remember like the first couple weeks of school, my kids were always, when they went to school, were just tired, just needed naps, needed to sleep, maybe a little more cranky, maybe not ready to talk about their day yet. Maybe they need like a little refreshment before they can tell you about their day. Which is not me, because I've been waiting all day and I'm like, how was it? Tell me everything. And they're like, can we get Starbucks or something? Like, can we get something? So, Grace, that's a good point. It's a good point. All right. Well, we hope your kids have an amazing back to school if they haven't started. I know around here we still have a little bit of time, like days left. Some people have already started, but my grandson's starting preschool coming up, so that's a big step. My college girl's going soon.
College? That's what I was going to say. Don't colleges start later?
Yeah, so my daughter's doesn't start. She starts the end of August.
Or October. That's when they're in midterms, Andie.
That's right. That's right. No, she starts at the end of the month, and yeah. So I don't know about the other schools so much, but I know people who are teachers, they're going back to school already. So it's that time of year again. I can't wait for it to cool down, because the hardest part for me is when school has started, but the weather is not cold enough. And so you're trying to embrace fall, but you can't. Like, you can't wear your flannels. You're still in t-shirt and shorts because it's 110 outside. But you just want to have apples.
You live
and
in
pumpkins.
Huntington Beach. It's not 110. Ask me what the weather was today while my kids were in school. Would you like to talk about that? 105 and humid. It was so hot.
See, I'm exaggerating. But
no,
apparently
that's reality.
That happens. It was 80 today.
There's no way
it was
I would ever put on a
beach
flannel
today.
right on. Yeah, exactly. Literally, all of us moms at Park and Pickup were like sweating and we're like pulling our shirts away. Like, you don't even want to give someone a hug hi. You're like, hi.
Everybody's just giving the nod. Like, hey, sweat dripping down your face.
We all have like our big sunglasses on.
And maybe not you, but most of us are in perimenopause, so we have like sweat just dripping down our backs and our arms. It's the worst. Okay, we should talk about perimenopause.
No, I don't want to.
We're going to talk about it. If you want to hear it, email Angie.
Email?
I feel like you'll get it better if she gets a fax, a PowerPoint, a page, or an email.
The Word document.
Let us know. Somehow get in touch with us.
I mean, it could be a Q&A. Like, I could ask you questions. You could teach all of us about what to expect.
Oh, okay.
If you want to do that. Maybe
I'm
that's
not fully
why 70
in it,
is
but
better.
you know it hits at 40. It starts at around 40.
That's perimenopause?
Peri.
And then you're menopause, then you're done, and then you're 70, and then that's
well,
the best time in your
menopause
life.
is like maybe that's it. Maybe like menopause is after you haven't had your cycle for a full year.
Right.
Up till then is peri. It could be 10 years.
Why are you telling us this?
Because this is what we're going through in our 40s. Everybody in my 40s everybody I know in our 40s, we're talking about this. And if you're in your 30s, you need to know what's coming.
Okay, I mean, I'm not saying we're not going to talk about it. I'm just saying I'm going to ask you questions and you're going to talk about it. In the next one. Oh, the change. Is that you? Is the change?
The change.
Is menopause called like the change?
But wait, it's perimenopause. We're not talking about menopause. We're talking about perimenopause. Before the change. Change. It's a 10 to 15 year process.
From age 40 to 50?
You could have started in sometimes late 30s. Sometimes
I had
later
cold
40s.
in my late 30s.
You probably did not go through perimenopause.
I am dreading preschool meet the teacher. Do you know why? Because I am the oldest person in the building. And it is so embarrassing. I mean,
you do want to talk about perimenopause.
I'm older than like even the director of the preschool. Like
Girl, didn't I babysit you?
It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. Like, if I lived in Huntington Beach, like Cole and Ezra could be going to preschool together. What's our age difference? Mine and Daisy's. Like, let's have some perspective here. I am going
15. You couldn't be her. I mean, you're too young to really be her mom. Just
right. But there's an age gap. And
there is.
It's noticeable at preschool drop off. And now that school's starting, I'm like
27. 26.
I'm already on like the older elementary mom age. You know, but I was like, I have a high schooler. So I'm a young high school mom. Very old preschool.
I love that so much.
It's so embarrassing. Like, I need to call Daisy to ask her, Daisy, what are you wearing to Ezra's Meet the Teacher? Send me a picture so I can copy your style.
What are the kids wearing these days? Apparently it's like longer socks. Like we're done with no-show socks, which I refuse to give up.
Longer socks?
Yeah, they're all wearing longer socks now.
Oh.
Gone are the no-shows.
No, those no-shows are staying.
That's what I said. I'm like, when I'm running, I don't want my socks to show, and everybody can know that I'm in my 40s.
Running. My skinny jeans and no-show socks.
Yeah, my skinny jeans.
Okay, I need to get wide leg jeans, right, to blend in.
And long socks.
And a hat. What are those hats called?
The wide-brimmed hats. I found one that fits our head, remember?
I know. Can you ship that to me?
I'll get you one.
I'll ask your dad. You guys, we took a picture and I didn't have a hat. And I wore Andy's dad's hat and it fit me and it was cute. So I'm going to ask your dad to ship me his hat.
He's got a little head.
No. I just have a huge head. Yeah, I'm going to talk to Daisy. I'm going to send her a message on Messenger. Be like, what are you wearing?
What are all the cool kids wearing to preschool? Meet the Teacher. All right. Well, thank you, Angie, one of these days, I will, as the wise older cousin of 47, I will discuss perimenopause and you can ask me all the questions. Youngster.
Preschool mama.
She's just a preschool mom, so she doesn't know yet. Wait till your kids get older. All right. Share us.
Like us. Find us on
Angie
YouTube at
Andy.
Mother Funny.
Andie and Angie.
It's the name of it. At Mother Funny with Andie and Angie.
Mother Funny with Andie and Angie.
It's not hard. At Mother Funny with Andie and Angie. Find us on YouTube.
Do it.
Yay!
I dare you. I double dog dare you.
Ooh.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that's all we have time for today. We got to wrap it up, unfortunately. But just remember, you might think you're doing just okay, but we think you're doing really great.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you have a great Mother Funny day. Please like and share our podcast.
But please don't tell our moms.